It is time to talk low rarity. Welcome back to Cocky Gachas, and in this video we're going to talk about the low rarity units, especially in the context of whether it is worth investing in them compared to high rarity units, and also when it's good and when it's bad to actually invest in them, with a bit of a context with 1.3 and 1.4 difficulty in mind that I'm also going to touch on in this video. So when we talk about investments, first things first, we need to have the data, and over here I am using Huzi Wiki for a data comparison. We are going to take a look at Melania first as a 6-star unit for our example, and I'm going to first compare the resonance material, because compared to all the dust of Sharpodonty that can be found with stamina, honestly in the longer run we might also have to take a look at the time gated material. So when you want to go to resonance 10, when you have a 6-star unit, you will need to take 15 of the moment of dissonance and also 30 of those cacophonies. We are not going to talk about this because it's relatively similar when it comes to a low rarity as well as high rarity, but from a cacophony end, 30 cacophonies and 15 moment of dissonance. And if we go to a 4-star comparison, this is going to be Pavia over here, and this is a 1-to-1 because a lot of people, when looking at current limbo, I also recommend people to go for Pavia if you do not have Melania and Centurion and you need to clear. For Pavia, if we go to the resonance in comparison, we are only going to need 9 moment of dissonance and also 19 of those cacophonies to go to resonance 9, which means that for every 2 4-star unit that you invest in, technically you could get a 6-star unit to resonance 9. And this is going to be quite an important thing that we want to consider, because cacophony is a time gated material. We definitely have to see whether this investment is going to be worth it. Now if we were to compare the stats, let's first look at Melania stats, and over here I'm going to use the I250 as an example, because low rarity units 4-star and below cannot go to I3. So for I250, if you take a look at the stats, it's going to be 963 attack as well as 5273, and then the respective defense as well as the critical skills. And of course the dust is going to be 530k and the Sharpodontis is going to be 200k. And if you take a look at Pavia on the other hand, we're going to see that the attack for Pavia at I250 is in fact higher than Melania. But when it comes to the HP stats as well as the defensive stats, you can see right over here the difference is massive, just from a HP and 4000 compared to 5200 at I250. And this is where the main problem of the low rarity units lies in, and that is when a stats front you can already see that there are massive differences. Furthermore, the main problem that I already briefly mentioned just now is that there is no I3 for lower rarity units 4-star and below, and this is the massive concern. At already I250, right, you already have a weaker unit in comparison to the 6-star counterpart. But if we were to just go to I360, which in the longer run we are definitely going to be able to have, you can see that the stats again draws themselves apart even more, and not to mention the I3 effect for all of the high rarity units 5-star and 6-star. So this is where the main problem of the lower rarity investment comes from, especially since you're spending quite a bit of cacophony from a carries app. However, if we were to look at low rarity carries, we are looking at support instead, and we have a twin sleep over here. This is a 3-star support unit, and mostly for support units we are not looking at resonance 9, right? We are looking at resonance 5, which is relatively cheap. If you just look at this, right, 6 dissonance as well as 2 of those cacophonies, if you just compare this and then we convert all of this into cacophonies, it's 3.5 cacophonies. So compared to the investment of 19 cacophonies, definitely when it's a support, it's much easier to just keep them at resonance 5, and it's easier for you to just say, okay, I'm just going to invest in this low rarity unit. I don't have to think too much, but of course we try to limit the amount of low rarity units that we have if you are looking for efficiency in the longer run. But when it comes to the carry, we have to be very careful with who we invest in. Now at this point you might be thinking, hey Cocky, you just told me that the low rarity units are so much worse, so what is the purpose of investing in a low rarity units? Are there any circumstances whereby they are going to be better than high rarity units? And there is, in fact, because the recommendations that I have for people, right, is to invest in low rarity units if you're looking to rush the game. So if you're looking to rush the game, right, there are going to be a couple benefits that we cannot look at it from a 1-to-1 end, whereby it costs 19 cacophony. So if you're new to the game, especially, the earlier you are in the game, the better it is for you to invest in low rarity units because of the artificial somnambulism. So when it comes to artificial somnambulism, a lot of people would take like 1 to 2 weeks. In fact, I would say most casual players would take upwards of 2 weeks to actually clear the artificial somnambulism and successfully go into limbo, right? The more casual you are, the longer it's going to take. And all of these balls, right, directly convert into the cacophonies as well as the dissonance. So all of this goes into resonance material. So when you take a look at this, right, artificial somnambulism also unlocks the limbo, which is the main difference in the amount of rewards that you are going to get and potentially can offset the cost of a low rarity unit. Perhaps if you are only midway, you are losing like 120 balls, you might think that this is not a big deal, right? I can just clear it. 120 balls don't get me that much. If you go into the Oneric shop, you can see this one costs you 100. So maybe one cacophony of the rebate, but usually, right, when people clear the artificial somnambulism 9 and 10, they are able to clear upwards to limbo 4 quite easily. So when you take a look at all of this rewards itself, all of these stages give 360 balls each. So 4 stages would give you 1440 Oneric balls. So all of these balls will convert into 14 cacophony. So plus the artificial somnambulism, we are looking at 15 cacophony already. So this one has a separate, limbo has a separate reset as well. So if you're able to make use of this, you can get a lot of balls rebated and technically you could get a free low rarity investment this way. Of course, with the Pavia, like you don't have Melania, you don't have Centurion, potentially it might also push you ahead to completing 5 and 6. This is also an extra 360 balls per stage, and not to mention the clear drops. So in this game, clear drops are extremely important since the devs are not exactly the most generous when it comes to clear drops. So for a free-to-play player, if you are looking to get as many pulls as possible, this is a good option, going for a low rarity unit while at the same time getting the rebate when it comes to the dissonance. So in the long run, you aren't losing that much per se. Now on the other hand, at this point you might be telling me, hey Cocky, I have seen a lot of people clear the content with just low rarity units. To your point, I do think that at this moment in game, we definitely am able to clear all the content with just low rarity units. I've seen a lot of low rarity content creators where they're clearing content with just like Rabbies. Rabbies is pretty good also, right? If you take a look at it, it's just a Changling replacement, and there's the Cristallo, there's of course the Pavia, even the Red Hood itself. Nick Botta I haven't seen too much. Dali Clatter, Onion, all of this I've seen. Twin Sleep and Beat for a support unit. All of these low rarity units, I've seen them clear content. So you might be thinking, hey, let's just go this route, right? I just like low rarity units. I like the challenge itself. And to your point, it is true that currently we can do it, but I have also went ahead to research on this topic to see how feasible it is in the longer run. And unfortunately for people that really love using only low rarity units, my bad news is that I went ahead to find one of the most skilled content creators on Bilibili, which is S 属性大爆发 Shane over here, and you can see his uploads, right, have basically just stopped at 15 limbo for the current 1.4, and I do think that he is trying very hard to complete the content with his low rarity units. And also he did mention, right, it's getting harder and harder for him to clear content, especially U2 as well as limbo, which is quite challenging given that the difficulty ramp up is quite significant from patch 1.3 onwards. So I don't know if he's able to do it, but even if he's able to do it, you have taken him multiple dozen of hours and also upwards of 100-200 tries to just go for those clear, right? And I'm not sure if the people are really expecting to spend that much time just to go for the challenge. However, if you're just trying to slot in like 1 or 2 of the lower rarity units in the future as a support, I do think that it is going to be completely fine, right? You can just go with it. And then the carry option, you can go for 5-star, 6-star that is more meta for you to clear off the content. So this is just my advice for people that are looking to invest in low rarity units. In the long run, they are definitely going to be phased out, I feel. And just looking at the trend that Blue Pork is going, right? This is currently the CN server. If you just take a look in the Atlas, and you will notice that there are no new 3-star, 4-star units, right? Every single banner have only introduced new 5-star units. This is the exact roster that we have for our 4-stars as well as our 3-star and also of course the 2-star. So all of this haven't been added at all in the game. So I would also expect that Blue Pork's thinking is that all of the 4-star and lower units are meant to be fodder. So I don't think they are trying to enhance them. I also don't foresee like them getting i3 in the future, unless of course the higher rarity 5-star and 6-star units start to get Insight 4. But even then, I don't see that happening for Reverse 1999. The direction they are going seems to be more of a casual one, whereby they are trying to make the content be able to be clearable by a multitude of units in the future, instead of trying to power creep the content such that you would definitely need to have Insight 4 for everyone to actually clear the content. Now, of course, if you're super casual at the game, I would also say that just play your own game, right? If you're not looking to clear all of the content, you shouldn't be that worried. And even for now, low rarity units still fare pretty well in our content, and the ramp up of difficulty really only comes in 1.3, like I mentioned, which is a couple months down the road. So don't worry too much about it, just enjoy your game. But if you're looking to optimize on the 6-star units and 5-star units that you're looking to invest in, definitely check out this video over here where I touch on the CN tier list for 1.4. I'll see you guys over there. This is Cocky Gachas, signing off.